Oh, you've had a career in radio and now you want to transition to voiceover? Right. Okay. Well, the first thing you're going to have to do is have that radio announcer voice beaten out of you. Okay, that's a little extreme, but I've heard messages like this in social media. Trolls essentially typing away, "Oh, you can't do this. You're not meant for voice acting." But here's the thing. That's bullshit. People who come from radio are ripe for voice acting. They've got a great foundation. They're what am I trying to say? They're natural. They feel comfortable around microphones and other equipment, recording or at least broadcast booths, various forms of copy and that kind of thing. That's a very strong foundation. But here's the thing. You've been exposed to not a whole lot of dynamic delivery styles. You've done one thing very well, most likely, for a long period of time, and so you're kind of a one-trick pony. I'm generalizing here. Obviously, there are plenty of people that come from radio that have read all kinds of copy and that would make a very smooth transition into voice acting, but a lot need to expand the repertoire. And so if you think of the typical radio announcer voice, that kind of personality type that you hear on the radio, that's kind of like if you think of the rather tired analogy of a toolbox, that's one tool. It's like a hammer. Voice acting requires, in order to be successful and to be desirable, you need a whole kit of tools, a whole variety of tools, screwdrivers and wrenches, and at least a level and a string line and all kinds of things. A good pencil. So and all these things can be learned. And then there's the technical side. Radio sounds very different than most voiceover performances sound these days. For a long time now, the voiceover world has been tracking to be more conversational, more loose, more real person, that kind of thing. So if you try to come at that type of a performance with only having the background of talking like you're on air, then it's just not going to work. So how do you go about adding these other performance types to your toolbox, your arsenal, your painter's palette, if you will? Well, you study, and you practice, and you practice, and you practice, and you work with somebody, because it's, even though you can start to get the feel for different styles on your own, simply by listening to a lot of commercials and watching a lot of videos, where it really comes down, where the rubber meets the road is when you're working with somebody else, so that in real time, somebody can point out to you how you could do something differently, how you might address a piece of copy in a way that's more suitable. We all go through this. Everybody who comes into voice acting, or acting in general. You don't know what you don't know, and sometimes what you're hearing in your own head doesn't translate to somebody else's ears. So you have to work together with somebody. Breaking down those different types of performances and how they correlate with different types of copy can be very different from where you've been and what your experience has been on air. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And also another barrier that I want to dispel is if you're getting up in the years, like me, and you're looking to transition out of a career that might be kind of dying for you, or or your station's becoming yet another one of the automated variety, and they're getting rid of all their on-air talent, and you want to use what you've honed for years in a different way. Sure, yeah, absolutely, do it. Get into it now. Just be prepared to learn, to study. Absolutely, bring all of your experience with you, because there are a lot of times when the announcer read is absolutely required. It's asked for. I do it a lot. I've never been a radio personality, but I mimic that sound because that's what's being asked of me. So the announcer read is far from dead. But in order to be a more desirable voice talent to a perspective, to a wide range of clients, you got to learn. You've got to learn more performance styles. You just have to. If you're just a one-trick pony, then your career's going to go nowhere, all right? But as I said, what buyers are looking for these days is a range that is much more believable and natural and relatable, but also incorporates other styles like comedic reads, more dramatic reads, for a whole host of things. Medical problems, that kind of thing, where things are a little more dire. And everything in between, from dramatic to comedic to announcer to everyday person on the street. If you can do it all, that's going to be very desirable and bookable. That's going to make you bookable in a nice variety. That's what I love about voiceover, is that every day I've got new and different things coming in a wide spectrum of performance styles. That's great. I love that. And you will too. But you're going to have to study first, okay? But if anybody comes at you saying that they're going to have to beat the radio announcer out of you, just say, no thanks. I think I'll study with somebody else. Because you shouldn't be erasing anything. You shouldn't be unlearning anything. You just need to learn more. And whatever you do, make it authentic. Sound believable. So what do you think? Where are you at? Are you coming into voiceover out of radio? What's been your experience? Let me know in the comment section below, okay? And I guess that's it for me today. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm doing. And until next time, take it easy.